Hi there, and thank you for choosing the most watched business show in the country. This is the Business Weekly Show here on City TV. My name is Michael Obodu. Hit me up on Twitter at mobodu, and the show is sponsored by Standard Chartered Bank. Standard Chartered Bank, here for good. In the next 1 hour, I'll be bringing you all the latest business news that made headlines this week, and it won't be boring one bit. Are you ready? Let's go. Guys, I make wild. It's about fuel again. Man, no go feel rest again. Just a few weeks ago, the price went from 6 cedis 38 pesos to 6 cedis 52 pesos. And what are we hearing again? That fuel prices could hit 6 cedis 86 pesos by the end of this month. As for the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, they are projecting the figure could be much higher. Yable.
Fuel prices started the year at a little over 4 cedis per litre, but currently sells at 6 cedis 50 pesos per litre. Global oil prices and the introduction of some new taxes earlier in the year are key factors to the increase of prices at the pumps. Oil prices started the year at about $40 per barrel, but currently a barrel goes for over $80. It has been projected to hit $90 per barrel by the end of the year, a development that would mean a further increase in prices at the pumps. Although many Ghanaians and stakeholders in the space have been crying for measures to check the price hikes, the situation might only be getting worse as the National Petroleum Authority is projecting another surge to about 6 cedis 86 pesos per litre before the end of this month. The head of pricing at the authority, Abbas Ibrahim Tasunti, was speaking on City TV's point of view.
One thing about oil prices is that you can't predict what will happen tomorrow. So it is better to work with numbers you can see. As we speak, we publish the daily price indicators, like I mentioned, to give everyone an idea of what will happen. The closest we can have is the next window, which is the next 2 weeks. So a typical indication, all things being equal, the taxes are definitely not going to change now. The margins are quite stable. That's the statutory margins are quite stable. What is not in our control is the margins the OMCs use to set their price and the premiums the BDCs use to set their price as well. But let's assume these are also stable. Now, looking at the variables that change, the world market price. For the next window, I mentioned to you that petrol, for example, looking at the next window, already the price of petrol on the world market has increased by about 9%. Diesel has increased by about 10%. So these two, holding everything constant, will mean that petrol, for example, will increase by about 5% if nothing happens. And diesel also just around the same figure.
5%?
5%, which will take us to about 6.84 for petrol and about 6.86 for diesel.
By what date?
So this is the next window, which starts from the 16th of October.
The executive director of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Duncan Amwa, has expressed fears that the movement of forex could further cause the price of fuel to increase to at least 7 Ghana cedis by the end of this month.
The projection he's just made, just about 14 pesos shy of 7. So the close of month, which will probably be the first window, November. If the trend should continue and the cedi should come under the sort of pressure you normally would see towards the last quarter because of pressure from importation and all of that, I do not see how 7 is not possible before November. But then again, Bernard, we are still mindful of the taxes.
As for this fuel issue, I don't even want to talk about it again. I can't come and kill myself. But you know, something annoying also happened. Things are getting missing at the Tema Oil Refinery. Like how? And they aren't in small quantities too. The refinery that we are all hoping will start working soon so that hopefully fuel prices can drop a bit, and some people are busy sabotaging it. That's so cruel. But they are not safe because the interim management says it will deal with anybody that is found culpable seriously.
According to the Interim Management Committee of the Tema Oil Refinery, the investigations were conducted in order to eradicate or reduce product losses at the company to the barest minimum. It was also conducted to enable the refinery meet its vast potential. The investigations by the committee revealed a number of incidents, which include the disappearance of over 105,000 litres of gas oil, which belongs to a BDC client on 4th September 2021. the wrongful loading of 252,000 litres of aviation turbine kerosene instead of the regular kerosene into BRV trucks at the loading gantry between the 21st and 25th of September 2021. Other infractions uncovered include the disappearance of 18 drums of electrical cables and 10.4 million Ghana cedis from the technical storehouse of Tor discovered in April 2021. In an interview with City Business News, Chairman of the Interim Management Committee of Tor, Norbert Anku, stated that anyone cleared in the process will be recalled from interdiction, while any form of liability will be dealt with in accordance with the law.
What is happening and what we have found out is that there seems to be a regime within the Tema Oil Refinery where product loss has become order of the day. Product loss between, let's say, an oil trading company bringing crude is refined, and we are unable to deliver to them the full volumes of product that we have agreed to supply them. This seems to be going on for way too long. If it turns out that some people are deliberately putting Tor in this position, we have no choice than to let the law enforcement agencies do their job. Absolutely. Because this is a complaint that's very viable. Because if you Tor is extremely viable. But every one step anybody takes, there are some people who are, finding ways and means by which they want to bring the company down. So seriously, I can assure you, if after the investigations, some staff are really found culpable, we'll let the law deal with them vigorously.
My colleague Kojo Ajman was so furious some time back. He had ordered food in the morning, and late in the afternoon after 4 p.m., the food had still not arrived. Talk about fasting unintentionally. What annoyed him was the fact that the food joint wasn't even remorseful about it. He promised never to use their service again. For me, I don't want to remember my experience. My own money too, when you are talking to me like you are doing me a favor. Let me leave it here before I don't want to sin this afternoon. I won't let these people lead me. Anyway, as the world celebrates Customer Service Week, we took a look at the current state of customer service in the country.
In 2019, Ghana scored 62.2% in its Customer Service Index in a research conducted by the Institute of Customer Service Professionals. The research focused on 9 sectors of the economy, including telecommunications, hospitality, and online businesses. The score at the time puts Ghana in grade C, denoting an average performance in the area of customer service. A 2021 study by the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, with a focus on the banking sector, showed that only 2 banks out of the banks surveyed crossed the average mark. In terms of overall service quality, only 11 banks were rated 5-star. Before COVID-19, businesses were gradually exploring new digital ways to engage and support customers. But once the pandemic hit, this timeline accelerated significantly. This has catalyzed a shift in consumer expectations. But are businesses living up to the expectations? I spoke to some people who shared their thoughts and experiences.
You know that you can find so many people doing the same thing, but you ask yourself, why is it that this particular person like going to this place? Maybe the person is very friendly. When they come to the person smile, talks to them, asks them how they are doing and everything.
Some people, you approach them with a smile and they give the smile back. Others too, you approach them with a smile and they don't even want to talk to you, they don't even want to sell, but I'm buying from you, you get it. Yes, it normally happens, especially in Cape Coast. People are like that, yes, over there. I went there for some time.
You ask for a price of something and the response would be rude, like you're not ready to buy, so why are you asking? And especially on social media, some are supposed to put the price there, so you have to be texting them, asking of the prices. It's somehow frustrating.
For customer service, it depends. It depends on the company, because some services are good, some are also not good. Yeah, sometimes you get there and then for them to take care of, give attention to your service is an issue. Yeah, so sometimes you have to wait and wait and wait and wait. Some of them will be, the attention will be divided. And then, so it depends on the company.
Professor Mahmoud Abdullahi Mahmoud is an associate professor of marketing at the University of Ghana Business School and throws more light on what customer service is.
Customer service, we say, is a support that we give to our customers before, during, and after a purchase is done. And it's so important because it gives that kind of experiences, and the experience the customers have with us will bring them back to do business with us. So if we fail to engage them in all these phases, then we'll tend to have a problem. And especially repeat business is so crucial, it's so important, repeat business. When people buy from you once and you don't come back, then you are not in business. And when people come back to you, it means that you are doing something wonderful, and that is where the profitability will come in. So repeat business is so crucial that customer service is important, and customers will always, the kind of experiences they have with us will always remind them when they are coming back to do business with us.
But just how can businesses invest in customer service? I spoke to head of customer service experience at First National Bank and founding president of Customer Experience Professionals Ghana Association.
Now they have the voice to choose which one they prefer. And so they hold us accountable. And that is why service is gradually being a focus of most organizations. Customer service represents your brand as a business, your brand image, your mission, and your values. And we all know that happy customers will definitely refer others to you. I'm sure you're aware of that. Happy customers are also willing to pay more to companies and organizations for their product and services if only they are treated right. So, in effect, if you offer good service to your customers, you are increasing your revenue. Your profit would go up as well. And so you get more loyal customers, and you get more customers because they will refer others word of mouth to you. It's actually a culture, not a department. And so one of the first ways you can invest is to train your people. Train, and retrain your people on the importance of customer service and how to handle different types of customers in the organizations. You also need to invest in systems. You need to listen to your voice of customer. So if you are doing well, once you have the systems so you can reach out to customers, they can reach you easily and give the service you need to them. So systems are also key to invest in.
If you're fond of issuing checks when you know you don't have enough money in your bank account, please desist from it because the Bank of Ghana says persons caught doing such things risk being fined and or being imprisoned for up to 5 years. The fact that you could face both punishments is enough to make anyone shudder. Imagine going to jail just because of a check you know you shouldn't have written. That would be more painful than slapping your own self.
According to the Bank of Ghana, individuals need to always ensure there are enough funds in the account before they issue a check. Persons who issue a dud check for the first time will have their financial institution warn them and also report the offense to the Credit Reference Bureau. First-time offenders would have their financial institutions place them under surveillance for a minimum period of 3 years. According to the central bank, if a person issues a dud check for the second time within 3 years of the first offense, their financial institution shall report their conduct to the Bank of Ghana and get their details and the breach recorded in a dud check register maintained at the Bank of Ghana. Persons who issue a dud check for a third time within 3 years will be banned from issuing checks within the country for a minimum period of 3 years. They will also be banned from accessing new credit facilities from all financial institutions for a period of 3 years and have their names published in 2 daily newspapers of national circulation.
Am I the only one who wonders why at all loans are so expensive in Ghana? The average lending rate is about 21%, So you could imagine my shock and surprise when I discovered that there were African countries that offered as low as 3%. Yes, 3%. It shocked you too, right? That's like starting a race 2 minutes late against Usain Bolt. You serve, you lose before the race starts. Check out the governor of the Bank of Ghana's explanation for the situation in the country.
Data from the Bank of Ghana's Summary of Economic and Financial Data shows that average lending rates have dropped from about 31% in 2016 to about 21% in 2021. Despite the improvement in the cost of credit in Ghana over the years, businesses in peer economies continue to enjoy cheaper lending rates. Research conducted by international advisory firm Confidence show that cost of credit is Ghana's weakest point. According to the research, the country ranks at the bottom of the list when compared to Africa's top exporters. The 14.5% policy rate in Ghana as of January 2021 was double the African average of 7% and also compared unfavorably to 1.5% in Morocco, 3.5% in South Africa, and 4.5% in Cote d'Ivoire. In response to questions on the high lending rate at the recently held Monetary Policy Committee press conference, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, noted that a lot has already been done.
You have to understand that the reasons for the high lending rates are varied. The macro conditions contribute to it. The bank's structure of our banking system contributes to it in terms of the efficiencies of the banks. As you know, we increased the capital requirement for banks. That led to some mergers and acquisitions because of the economies of scale that comes, with larger banks, so that the unit costs of banking would go down. And hopefully when the unit costs of banking go down, that can be passed on into lower lending rates. So this is really the thinking behind raising the capital requirements.
Dr. Addison also noted that improved fiscal consolidation will help in reducing the cost of credit in the country.
I think that if you look at the macro side, one of the lingering problems that we have is the strong demand from the side of the budget. If we were seeing greater fiscal consolidation, right, the demand for loans or demand for bonds from the banks were going down, you would expect that the lending rates would also follow. I use the example of countries that run balanced budgets. I mean, if we run a balanced budget in Ghana with our revenues equal to our expenditures, the banks are holding 80 billion cedis in government bonds. Where do you think that money would be? And what do you think would happen to interest rates in that context? So the issue of fiscal consolidation is also very key in addressing this issue of the high lending rates. So we are working at it. The government is working at it to do their part. They are bringing down the budget deficit. It's not easy, but they are pushing at it.
My friend Josephine last year noticed some transactions on her debit card that she didn't authorize. Minutes later, another popped up, then another. She quickly called her bank to block the card. Someone I know also shared a similar experience. But it all made sense when I heard that attempted cyber fraud rose by over 400% from 2019 to 2020. This is according to the 2020 Banking Industry Fraud Report. This clearly shows that everybody has to pay attention to cyber fraud. This is why the first Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afare, is challenging financial institutions to continuously improve upon their security system.
The reported value of fraud recorded by banks and specialized deposit-taking institutions in Ghana in 2020 was about 1 billion Ghana cedis. Out of that amount, the reported value of attempted cyber and email fraud amounted to over 270 million Ghana cedis. In 2020, cyber and email fraud, however, recorded a loss value of approximately 1.05 million Ghana cedis as compared to a loss value of 14.3 million Ghana cedis recorded in 2019, representing a 92.6% decrease in year-on-year terms. However, while speaking at the launch of the Cybersecurity Authority and the Critical Information Infrastructure Directive, Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afari noted that it is still important for institutions to regularly implement up-to-date solutions to combat cyber-related threats.
Regulatory compliance by itself is not cybersecurity. The onus lies on banks to examine the state of their security systems, identify gaps, and design appropriate mechanisms to counter possible cyber threats. In addition to these cybersecurity regulations, financial institutions will also be required to implement an integrated approach by adopting enterprise-wide frameworks of cybersecurity management in line with their businesses. Today's world is completely different from a decade ago, as changes in information and communication technology increase exponentially. As a result, it is important for institutions to undertake cybersecurity-related due diligence and assessments, identify proper detective controls, and enforce third-party and insider risk programs to protect, safeguard their working environments from cyber-related activities that are not conducive for growth.
On his part, the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, stated that Ghana's energy sector is not immune to the threats posed by cyber attacks. According to him, if unchecked, cyber attacks can compromise energy supplies in Ghana and other parts of the world.
The danger of cyber attacks and threats to the energy sector are real and can undermine important sensitive infrastructure and compromise energy supplies. Whilst there have been several such incidents, which is increasingly escalating, we in Ghana probably haven't yet. Except to say that when I became the Minister of Energy, people thought that the doomsday that was happening just when I got announced, some said it was cyber attacks, but this might probably be my more human-engineered cyber attacks than anything. So as we modernize, we are exposed to the threat of cybersecurity. Ladies and gentlemen, cybersecurity is a cross-sector issue that requires interdisciplinary collaboration, and it starts from all of us being aware of such a huge threat. My ministry, I can promise, and I pledge, and I've already started, will work closely with the Ministry of Communication and Digitalization to ensure we adopt the necessary policy measures that will support compliance of the provisions of the Cybersecurity Act 2020.
Hey, now who are you chatting over there giddy like that? Sisters. Anyway, if you use WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram on a regular, then I'm sure Monday was a very awkward day for you. I kept turning my data off and on, thinking it was probably the issue, till I heard someone say in the office that it wasn't the internet. Moments later, news broke that the server running the social media platforms had crashed. But the way we all were frustrated with this development, don't you think we should have a local alternative? What would you propose we call it?
For over 6 hours on Monday, the whole world suffered an outage on 3 major social media apps, WhatsApp, Facebook and Instagram, leaving individuals and businesses that rely heavily on such platforms to connect with their audience and business associates frustrated. Facebook blamed an internal technical issue which not only affected the company's services but reportedly also employees' work passes and email accounts. In reacting to this development, Minister of Communications and Digitalization Ursula Owusu-Ekufo urged stakeholders in the technology space to take advantage and create local social media apps that can compete with these international giants.
I'm all for government using its purchasing power to stimulate the tech ecosystem. We've demonstrated that by government procuring the national ID system from a local company. The digital address system was developed by a local Ghanaian company. Our SIM registration platform was developed by a local company on existing infrastructure that we already have. And so is the Ghana.gov payments platform was also developed by a local company. So if we can, our young people, if they're tasked to utilize technology to address challenges that we face can come up with solutions that address those challenges. I don't see why yesterday's incident can't also be an opportunity for them to innovate and think around the system and develop something that we can use, if not as our main source of communication, as an alternative source of communication that over time can also grow to rival these global giants.
Mrs. Owusu Ekuful was speaking to the media on the sidelines of the signing of an MOU between the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization and the Digital Transformation Center by GIZ Ghana. The purpose of this partnership is to jointly implement projects and activities that support the sustainable growth of the Ghanaian digital economy, to provide competent skills for job creation, bridge the gender digital divide, and make digitalization accessible to all. The sector minister further outlined some of the plans that the project sought to achieve.
We can't wait for telecommunications companies to expand their networks to cover the rural areas where there may not be a commercial incentive for them to extend their services. And so government has secured funding to roll out telephone connectivity to 2,016 sites in unserved and underserved communities of Ghana in our rural telephony and digital inclusion project. It is estimated for each site that is connected, 500 people in each identified community would be able to access telephone connectivity. So it means that by the time the project is concluded, several millions of people living in these deprived communities will be connected to data and voice services.
Still on innovations, the University of Mines and Technology is doing some amazing stuff with and for its students. They are helping their students transform some of their ideas into actual businesses. What if all universities in the country did something similar? Just think about how significantly that could reduce graduate unemployment in the country. Anyways, you know, do too, way too much.
The UMAT Incubation Hub is one of the 3 hubs of the SMV Green Incubation Program in the Western region. The Dean of the Office of Research, Innovation and Consultancy at UMAT, Professor Solomon Nunu, speaking at the close-up event and exhibition of products by the first 3 beneficiaries, said the U-Hub is the university's vehicle for commercializing innovations and business ideas at UMAT.
It is additionally a center for building capacity of young entrepreneurs as part of the university's extension services activities to its catchment area. The journey to establish a business incubation hub began in 2015 when we instituted an annual innovation and career fair to encourage and advance innovation within the university community, especially among students. We hope that you are all being graduated today as empowered SMEs that are ready to take on your respective markets in a competitive way.
Some of the beneficiary students of the U-Hub, who are now small and medium-scale entrepreneurs, spoke to City Business News about their products.
What we do is we make hygiene and sanitary products from natural ingredients. We encourage the women in our community who are already producing the coconut oil to save their waste, which we gather, add a little magic to it, and make this sanitary product. Currently, we have about 6 products on the market now. With the U-Hub now, I can say I have a lot of things I can command. With the computer, I'm on point. How to access funds, how to put my books in order, inventory, bookkeeping. The U-Hub has been a blessing.
An advisor at the Green Employment and Enterprise Opportunities Program in Ghana explained the rationale behind the Green Project.
For incubation and acceleration, if we wanted to make an impact, then we needed to look at the many districts. There are lots of young people in the different districts who are doing a lot of work that has a great potential impact for our environment, for the communities in which they are. And we needed to identify such businesses and bring them into the program so that we can really see the impact. So for us, the challenge was to go out on the ground to recruit service providers that can help us, first of all. And we are happy to have found 3 service providers in the Western region. That is Power Workspace, U-Hub, that is under UMAT, and then AABN
Have you registered your SIM card now with the Ghana card? How was the process? Did you have any challenges with it? Don't worry, because the sector minister says they are working to ensure all these concerns are addressed soon. But Abi, you know, Dada, for those who haven't done it yet, you risk losing your phone number once the deadline elapses. So please, try and sort it out soon.
The ongoing SIM card registration exercise commenced on 1st October 2021 and is expected to end on 31st March 2022. It is expected to, among other things, help develop and build a SIM database which will assist in the curbing of fraudulent activities and the securing of SIM card-based transactions. It will also aid in the determination of the accurate number of valid SIM cards on the various telecommunication networks at every point in time. While awareness about the SIM registration exercise appears to be low, it has also been criticized by some stakeholders. Imani Africa President Franklin Kujo has stated that he is not convinced by the reasons government has given for the SIM registration exercise in Ghana, explaining that the assumption that crime will automatically cease because we are going to register SIM cards is a bit far-fetched. He felt the directive was also inconveniencing majority of people for very little gain. However, speaking at the launch of the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, Madame Eslo Swekufo reiterated that the SIM card registration exercise is imperative in the reduction of mobile-related cybercrimes.
It is imperative that we reduce the incidence of mobile device-related cybercrimes. And I'm sure most people in this room have fallen victim to one such cyber attack or fraudulent use of a mobile device or other, or know somebody who has. So all of us have to register our SIM and have to register our devices. We provided a 6-month period for this exercise and hope we all endeavor to take advantage of this window to do so. Let me just give a gentle reminder that all unregistered SIMs will be deactivated at the end of the registration exercise. And we mean it. We will enforce the law to the letter. Don't blame me if your phone is blocked. You were warned.
On his part, the Director General of the National Communications Authority, Joe Anoche, says he's confident the ongoing SIM card registration exercise will become a cornerstone for the country's economic transformation. Speaking at the same program, Mr. Anoche noted that the registration exercise, when completed, will complement the efforts of cybersecurity stakeholders in fighting cyber-related threats.
For Ghana as a developing country, and like so many others, the first line of access to communication services is via the mobile phone. And so, with a robust SIM registration exercise, we are sure that Ghana will be one of the first African countries to have a SIM ecosystem that will have integrity and acts as a cornerstone for rapid transformation of our economy. Players in the cybersecurity ecosystem thrive on real-time prevention, identification, and detection of cyber-related offenses. By these coordinated efforts, we are encouraged that the SIM card registration exercise will subsequently complement the efforts of cybersecurity stakeholders in fighting growing sophistication in cyber-related threats and crimes. We are hopeful that not only will the SIM registration exercise create avenue to ensure a well-secured communication database to support government's development interventions, but the process will concurrently facilitate the registration of mobile phone devices in a bid to considerably reduce cybercrime and related illegal activities in the country.
Away from the re-registration exercise to the Registrar General's Department, it began the delisting of 3,100 dominant companies from the company's register. You think the number is huge, eh? Wait till you find out that it's just the first batch of companies that will be delisted this month out of the over 100,000 companies registered since 2011.
According to the Registrar General's Department, the exercise has become necessary after the end of the 3-month validation process conducted by the department from July to September this year to review the sampled group of companies not in good standing with the department. The move also follows the failure by these firms to update their records and file their annual returns as mandated by law. According to the Registrar General's Department, the delisting process is commencing with 3,100 companies being taken off the company's register. This will be the first batch of companies to be delisted this month out of the over 100,000 companies registered since 2011. It said over 257,000 companies existing in the database had not filed their returns or amendments with the department since 2011, while over 670,000 companies in the legacy system had not carried out the update of their data, dubbed re-registration as at March 2020. The department also used the opportunity to call on all businesses, whether in operation or not, to take measures to regularize their operations and update their records to avoid being delisted. It's further noted that a company's status after the strike-off at this period will be classified as being inactive and would not be able to be accessed for any business transaction for the next 12 years except by a court order to the department to restore it to a status of good standing in the company's register. The Registrar General Jemima Owari also noted that companies that have been delisted will be made to pay penalties before they are reinstated.
And we continue this process of updating the records till the end of the year, and then we put out another notice. As we put out the notices, people realize that we are really serious. Those who were going to strike off, obviously, we can't really collect it. They are not interested in carrying on business, so we just take it away. But any other person who is interested in carrying on business, they have to come and restore the company.
Companies to be delisted include public or private companies limited by shares, public or private companies limited by guarantee, private and limited companies, and external companies.
It looks like the issue between the Ghana Union of Traders Associations and the Nigerian Union of Traders Associations, NUTAG, is not going away anytime soon. A meeting to resolve the ongoing trade war between the two parties has once again failed to find an answer. We hope this issue can be resolved soon once and for all.
Despite the law banning foreigners from engaging in retail trade in Ghana, some foreign nationals continue to engage in such activities in breach of the GIPC Act. This development and lack of proper enforcement by regulatory agencies have led to some confrontations between Ghanaian retailers and their foreign counterparts in parts of the country. In September this year, some foreign-owned shops in different parts of the country were forcefully closed. The Ministry of Trade and Industry subsequently set up task force comprising the leadership of the Ghana Union of Traders Association (GUTA) and the Nigeria Union of Traders Association (NUTAG) to help resolve the issue following the failure of an initial task force to do so. The Ministry of Trade and Industry also asked GUTA members to refrain from locking up shops belonging to foreigners ahead of a planned meeting with leaders of both trade unions on Tuesday, 5th October 2021. The meeting was, however, inconclusive as members of NUTAG say they are yet to come to a conclusion with their governments on the latest developments and the way forward. Co-chair of the Ghana-Nigeria Joint Implementation Task Force on Retail Trade, Frank Ejekum, spoke to the media on the issue.
Unfortunately, at this meeting, the Nigerians told us again that they've not finished our consultation with their government, and so we could not really have any, we could not carry on with the meeting. The meeting had to be adjourned for another 1 week in the hope that by the time we meet again, the response from the consultation between the Nigerian traders and their government would have been resolved, and then we can move ahead from there. So that's where we are at the moment. And in the interim, the meeting has asked the Ghana Traders Union Association to also hold off any actions until we have a response from the Nigerian government, and then we will know what to do from there.
President of GUTA, Joseph Obing, said he is hopeful the next meeting will bring finality to the matter.
At the end of it all, it has been agreed that next week should be a decisive week. And so I think our brothers have clearly understood that they have to comply and then move forward with this. From what they are saying, they are going to comply, and that's all that we are expecting, that they have to comply. It's the laws of the nation, and we make sure that it is done. Fortunately, we have also considered make some concessions by pleadings of government and all that. I hope they also have to respect same so that it will not bring any confusion to us again.
Have you noticed how there are so many varieties of groceries on the market when Christmas approaches? Do you also realize how a lot of them, and in some cases those we already know, suddenly sell for cheaper than usual? Please be vigilant, because you might as well be buying an expired product. If you used to sell such products in the past, this year repent, or else if the Food and Drugs Authority gets you, you might be spending your Christmas at the Nsawam prisons.
The stories of individuals purchasing expired goods during the Christmas period are often one too many. As another festive season approaches, the country's markets will be flooded with various items, including soft drinks, biscuits, and cakes. Unfortunately, some of these products, which sell at extremely low prices, may be expired, as some traders choose to put their wealth before the health of people. The new caution has become even more necessary following the confiscation of some unwholesome goods by the authority in some parts of the country recently. In an interview with City Business News, head of Food Safety Department at the FDA, Jocelyn Amusa, said individuals found selling expired goods will be duly punished.
Every year, as you know, FDA would intensify our surveillance systems. Currently, we have officers all around, and as we get to the festive time, we intensify. So then the surveillance officers are looking out for products that are on sale that are expired or bloated or dented. We look at all those things. And so these are things that we ensure that it's off the shelf. Once we realize that you are selling expired products, definitely the law will deal with you accordingly. Because in the first place, you are not supposed to be stocking products that have their expiry dates elapsed. So the law will definitely deal with you, and there are a number of sanctions. So depending on what we see, it will be dealt with accordingly.
Let's talk about cocoa. And our farmers must be very happy now that the digital weighing scales have been introduced. Previously, some cocoa buyers used to adjust their scales just to cheat the farmers. But that is history now. This will obviously motivate them to work harder. After all, they know they will get in full their money's worth. Madam, don't you have the big ones?
The Atronier Enclave, which is the hub of cocoa production in the Sunyani municipality, has over 2,000 cocoa farmers. These farmers have welcomed the introduction of the digital weighing scales and the purchase of cocoa from farmers. Effective Friday, October 8, 2021, all licensed buying companies across the country are obliged to use digital weighing scales whilst purchasing cocoa from farmers. The new scale is replacing the old type. According to the farmers, the introduction of the scales will go a long way to ensure they are not cheated by some licensed buying companies and purchasing clerks.
Ti eya na awie kuku no ama yantime ankwan mu sese wo lodu botama kura wo baba ba sisu na anso ti we susu de megidi se eya wan a na ya wan ti we susu de babo ayama yatime anya kuku na akwan mu se de abaya yesu ya hon batoye
mpa cho mani je ho emo de bebo aye ne se e bebo akuafo ama ske dada no ya na wo mu dwoso nti koko no de dodo no kra kwa de wo pese wunya ne saa na ayifo na fa bi nti we na mode ba ne de ye ni je ho pa
ke ba boye na unse mere bia no no masesa unse mere kanetete no e machine bi ba ya ye di siso a na etonko ono ni hobium na we nso ba ye ono nso ye sisiye nti sa ban de foforo ba enim se e ba boaye hata na oba hata wokoko ni yie na oda akokra chi ho na wa hata ni yie de mano a se ba ya wono nso ntimi nsisi wo.
Two of the purchasing clerks have been sharing their thoughts on the introduction of the digital weighing scales.
Mo de be boy en se de bia wo mo report se pharmacy no se sisi wo no ba sam sukuku to no ena form te second no na edru ba bia na fan free akuafo no nsisi wo mo sa enti me de me afide no eba no me ni gye ho se emra na obi ehunu se de adwuma no esiko enti yesre kuafo no se before some this ade ne beba so no koko no mane wo koko bi ho obetima hata ne be se 4 days 5 days kwani di abre wo no obewie no wabo akireka esre wo mo se that be the case there omma koko no nyere enwo no mo fa mre yen omde ewo no omde bre nia inu omu ni problem bia
achinyije e worst case am no ho de no kore ni electronic na baaye no odi koko ni siso a onima de kora onim se we baako anase eye mienu a achinye bia nye dai eni ho nti ma obi adwene mo ye ne fan nti ebeboa ama bibia akoso kama.
If you've seen the state of some mining communities, you'll be saddened by the depravity that exists there. This is quite sad. I believe that's part of the reason why the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II is urging the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation, GIDEC, and its partner, Rockshore International, to give a facelift to communities with the proceeds from bauxite mining. He stressed the need for GIDEC and its partners to conduct their activities in a responsible manner in order to ensure that it brings development to mining communities and provide employment opportunities for the youth.
Over the years, inhabitants in mining communities in parts of the country have lamented the slow pace of infrastructural development in their areas despite the high volume of mining activities. Roads in most mining communities have been in deplorable states, while there is unemployment among the youth. The Asantehene highlighted these concerns to officials of GIDEC and Rockshore International. He tasked them to ensure that their operations benefit people living in bauxite mining communities.
You see Rockshore form penny for a chia mumwa namonegada nyaba kuna mumwa mania ye mayina. Dangers in modern idea de a bayer home naye no cause for home yina baye ne ama bibia kama. Kwasenya de do ye why ye be war bossy and mehu dada. This war had there any profs am recruitment mehu ye de anam himself Rockshore so begina papa. Yeah, social responsibilities said they must see a home be a man and unman grass for you and a horse I come outside. Ye can, you know, bauxite and a crowd do a white as you could you. No more boca me a year, I share who some pass a bauxite to crown cry a canoe, do say no. Yeah, son, and Zania quite your home lines and find an equal pebbles and so they be femme near to bauxite. Can they free mode there? It is a quite buy home. You are buying as a yaquanya was here acquiring no more this kind of your
Rockshore International has been selected to partner with GIDEC and implement Project 2, which includes the development of a mine at Ninahin Mpasaso in the Ashanti region and a refinery. Chief Executive Officer of GIDEC, Michael Ansan, assured of his outfit's commitment to collaborate with the mining communities and bring development.
So that's why we came today, and Otumfuo has been very kind. He's given us audience, and he said a whole lot of things to direct us, to give us the direction and the instructions that we should take as we deliver this work. This work is very important to Asante Mine, it's very important to Ghana as a whole, and it's very important to especially the people, the communities that we're going to impact. And he's given us his blessings, he's given us direction for us to work collaboratively with all the communities to make sure that we can take this development forward. So today is a very important day for GIDEC, a very important day for Rockshore, a very important day especially for Asante Mine, and a very important day for Ghana, for us to be able to have the permission to start this work and to progress in line with what the directions that we've been given.
The Chief Executive Officer of Rockshore International, Kwesi Osei Ofori, also assured of Rockshore's assurance to begin the execution of Project 2. The delegation from JIDEC included its board chairman, Dr. Tony Otinjesi, Deputy CEO, Akwesi Mensah Oseije, the executive assistant to the CEO, Kojo Yanka, and communications manager, Sharif Apia. The delegation was also joined by senior executive members of Rockshore International.
To our final story of the week, the show has been filled with a lot of surprising revelations, right? This last one won't disappoint. It is relatively cheaper to organize travels to destinations outside Ghana and Africa than putting similar ones together for destinations on the continent. Like, how is that even possible? How? It looks like if we really want to boost local tourism, all these issues have to be addressed. Going to Dubai is now cheaper than, you don't let me mention names.
After experiencing very depressing and unbearable conditions at the height of COVID pandemic, a lot of people would want to tour some places of interest to rejuvenate and relax. For some, the initial thought would be to go around the country and some destinations somewhere in Africa, but this will come at a cost. However, the marketing and sales manager of Adansi Travel and Tour, Sewak Bene, bemoaned the high costs associated with tours within the country and Africa at large.
We sell more foreign tours than we sell local tours because local tours can be very expensive. Even within Africa, selling Africa can be very expensive. So maybe for those lawmakers, they have to look at what are the factors that make our destination very expensive so that it will be affordable, not just for foreigners, but for even we locals. You know, I should be able to go to Zena Lodge and spend 2 nights without borrowing money, or my salary should be enough such that I can go and spend 2 nights in Maha or come to Early Beach Resort, something like that. So we should look at all of these things. So it's education about tourism, it's about the infrastructure, keeping it nice and tidy, it's about facilities and amenities, and it's about cost.
She added that the sector needed to place heavy emphasis on informing people on the value tourism brings to the nation so that more and more patrons are encouraged to see more local places of interest.
We as individuals need to understand the benefit tourism would have for us. We have so much to show off, but because we do not understand the value of what we have, it makes it very difficult to protect these things. In some countries, certain animals are not killed because that is what brings them income. In some places, certain water bodies, certain forests are protected because that's what brings them income. So we need to start with that education, knowing the value. The second is the infrastructure. So how do we access these tourist sites? There's so many beautiful places. Some of the places we go and some of the things we see, Fred, trust me, we can have them. You go to Maldives and you're at the beach. Look at our coastline from Volta region all the way to Western region. We have such beautiful coastline. We have sand. What makes our beaches not that attractive? We have to look at the infrastructure. We have to look at cleanliness. You know, so some of these things, and we also have to look at facilities. So if you are at Keta, what resorts are there at Keta? What resorts are there at Cape Coast? What resorts are there? What is the standard of these resorts? What will bring people in there? When they get there to that facility, what are they going to enjoy? What else are you selling apart from the room and the bed to sleep in? So we need to look at these facilities.
Ghana is expected to exhibit its rich tourism resources in order to woo visitors in the upcoming Dubai Expo, which runs from October this year to March 2021. Due to this, stakeholders such as Adansi Travel and Tour believe a lot more needs to be done by government to reduce costs related to the industry in order to make it attractive.
The traffic penny. So this one, when you go rate house, Accra pass with Anyway, this is where we bring down the curtains on today's edition of the Business Weekly Show here on City TV. Our website, City Business News, has regular business news updates for you. And don't miss out on the business dashboard. It airs at 10 p.m. sharp every weekday with a repeat the following day at 7 and at 10:30 a.m. My name is Michael Obudu. The show was sponsored by Standard Chartered Bank. Standard Chartered Bank, here for good. Catch you same time next week. Stay safe, stay informed. Follow me on Twitter, and it's bye-bye from here. Kamaru, Yankufi.